Welcome back. The corruption case against former President Jacob Zuma and French arms company Thales is expected to resume on Tuesday. This in connection with fraud, racketeering and money laundering charges arising from the arms deal negotiated by the government in the late 1990s. Good Party leader and Public Works Minister Patricia de Lille exposed the corruption deal almost 20 years ago. She joins us live now, and also joining in this conversation we'll have arms deal critic Terry Crawford-Brown. Auntie Pat, let's start off with you this evening. I mean, when we're looking at the fact that this is 17 years in the making, from the past 17 years, the only individual that has faced the full might of the law, with parole I might add, is Schabir Shaik.
Well, certainly all the delays is not in the interest of our democracy and justice. Allegations must be tested in an open court of law because South Africa deserves to know the truth. But also, Faith, I put my faith in the judiciary, that our courts will have to look at all the evidence and all the witnesses before them, and then make a finding of guilty or innocent. But this case is dragged on for almost 2 decades, and it is about time that we get to the bottom of this case, and that all of these allegations must be tested in an open court of law.
I mean, when you're looking at the strategy that has been utilized by former President Jacob Zuma, this is all to stave off prosecution, obviously. Do you think that it will work this time around?
Well, hopefully this time we can proceed. I've received several notices already as a witness in the trial, and then there's another postponement. I can confirm that I have agreed, to testify, and I will wait for the prosecuting authority to let me know accordingly when I should travel there to attend the case.
What new evidence will you be presenting there, Minister, as you do agree to testify and really go through that process? Any new information that you can let us know of?
Well, as you know, I was also a witness in the case of Schabir Shaik, and many years ago, I can't even remember, but it is basically that the same allegations against Schabir Shaik was made against ex-President Jacob Zuma, and I'm sure that the same evidence will be used like in the Schabir Shaik case.
Do you think that at any point will, the court find him to have no wrongdoing, or are we going to see, I think for the first time in a democratic South Africa, that a former head of state actually goes behind bars?
Like I said, I put my faith in the independence of our judiciary. They've always acted without fear or favor, and I'm sure they're going to do the same in this case. And we must not just allow for the court, for the law to take its course.
And of course, the COVID-19 has certainly put the spanner in the works in terms of postponements.
Yeah, definitely. COVID-19 has changed the world completely, and that has also led to some of the postponements, but I'm very glad that finally these allegations will be tested. It will also in the best interest of ex-President Jacob Zuma that he be given his day in court to put his side of the case. And in that way, the courts can weigh up the evidence and make a judgment of guilty or innocent.
Take us back there, Minister. You're speaking that how this has been 17 years in the making. We've seen this process happen while he was deputy president of the country. Then he became president for 2 terms in the country until he was recalled in February. But take us back in terms of exactly how did we get to this point? As a whistleblower, what did you uncover?
The one principle that we must accept in South Africa is that we are all equal before the law, no matter what your status or position that you hold in the country. And I blew the whistle on the 9th of September 1999 in Parliament and asked at the time for the Judicial Commission of Inquiry to be established, which was denied at the time. A few years ago, the Seriti Commission was established, and as you know, a complete waste of taxpayers' money because the commission came to the conclusion that there was no evidence. So I'm very grateful that finally in the court now the evidence that we have put forward, and there are many others, Andrew Feinstein, Devin Woods, Terry Crawford Brown, many of us were vilified and we were called names that we were anti-government. And I made it a point, and it's in the court records of the Shabir Sheikh case, that we are not saying that the whole of government is corrupt. What we were trying to do was to help government to root out the bad apples within government. So we're all equal before the law, and I'm glad that finally the allegations against ex-President Jacob Zuma will be tested.
We're all equal before the law there, Minister, but unfortunately with a French arms company like Thales, one wonders exactly will those individuals be accountable?
Well, they certainly have to speak for themselves, and they have to come with evidence that is contrary to the evidence that's before the courts now, and the courts must weigh up the facts and the evidence in the end and make a judgment call.
Yeah, and oftentimes former President Jacob Zuma has been seen to say that, the state is or the law is on a witch hunt, so to say, and will not let this be. In your opinion, are we truly singling him out here, particularly given the fact that now he is a former head of state? Or is it that actually he's the individual who is the cornerstone of this entire arms deal?
I must agree that in terms of the number of people implicated in the arms deal, there were only a few, which include ex-President Jacob Zuma, Shabir Sheikh, and Tony Ngeni, that was sort of made examples of. But we still need to see the day when the many others who are alleged to be involved, that they also be dragged before a court of law. So for fairness, because I don't think it's fair that only ex-President Jacob Zuma, Tony Ngeni, and Shabir get singled out. There were many other people involved here. And so they've been made the fall guys. But that doesn't justify for what they have alleged to have been doing. And therefore, those allegations must be tested in a court of law.
Good leader and Public Works Minister Patricia de Lille. We'll leave it there for this evening. Thanks for joining us. And we've been unable to reach arms deal critic Terry Crawford Brown on the matter, but we will continue to try and get his comment as we build up to Tuesday's trial.